Have you ever been in the middle of a conversation with your grown son or daughter, and you just get this feeling? It's not that they're being outright rude, not usually. It's a look in their eye, a slight sigh, or the way they cut you off to fix a problem you were just sharing. It's the phone call that ends a little too quickly, or the family dinner where they talk to everyone but you. It's that quiet, sinking sense that you're not being taken seriously anymore. That the person you raised, whose diapers you changed and whose skin knees you kissed, now sees you as a relic, a burden, or just irrelevant. If that feeling is familiar to you, please know this first and foremost: you are not alone. And your heart is not breaking over nothing. That ache for respect, for a sense of value and dignity within your own family, is one of the deepest pains there is. We spend our lives building a home, building a family, only to feel like a guest in it later on. It's a quiet grief that so many of us carry, often in silence. That's why we're talking about this today. This isn't about blaming our children or about turning back the clock. They are adults now, with their own lives, their own pressures, their own view of the world. This is about us. It's about looking at our own role in this new, sometimes uncomfortable, dynamic, and discovering how we can shift it, gently and with love, to rebuild that bridge of mutual respect. It's not about forcing them to respect us, because let's be honest, anything forced is never real, is it? It's about creating the conditions where respect can grow again, naturally. Over these next few videos, we'll explore 6 ways to do just that. 6 paths back to a place of connection and honor. So, let's begin with perhaps the most fundamental, and often the most difficult, shift of all. The first way to regain respect is to become a master listener. Now, I can almost hear what you're thinking. I am a listener. They're the ones who don't listen. And you're probably right. But I'm talking about a different kind of listening. I'm talking about moving from the kind of listening where we're just waiting for our turn to talk, or where we're already formulating our advice, to a kind of listening that is fully, completely present. Think about the last time your child told you about a problem at work, or a disagreement with their spouse. What was your first instinct? For most of us, it's to solve it. To jump in with, well, you should just tell your boss this, or why don't you try that? We come from a place of love, of a lifetime of fixing their problems. But to an adult child, that can feel condescending. It can feel as if we're saying, you're not capable of handling this yourself. You still need mommy or daddy to rescue you. So they shut down. They stop sharing the real stuff. The goal of this new kind of listening is not to solve, but to understand. It's to put down the newspaper, turn away from the television, look them in the eye, and just receive their words. Your only job is to be a safe harbor for their thoughts. When they finish, instead of handing them a solution, try asking a question that goes deeper. Something like, that sounds incredibly frustrating, how did that make you feel, or what do you think your next step will be? You are handing the problem, and their capability to handle it, right back to them. And in doing that, you are silently communicating the most powerful message of respect. I trust your judgment. I value your perspective. Your mind is impressive to me. When people feel heard and understood, they naturally lower their defenses. They start to see you not as a critic or a meddler, but as a source of wisdom and calm. They begin to lean in, instead of pulling away. This leads us directly to the second idea, which is to make the conscious choice to see them and treat them as the capable adults they are. This one is a real tightrope walk, I know. In our hearts, they will always be our little ones. But our actions and our words must acknowledge the reality of the capable, independent person standing in front of us. This means letting go of the parenting language of their youth. It means retiring phrases like, you should, or you have to, or I need you to, and replacing them with the language of equals. What are your thoughts on? Have you considered? I'd love to hear your opinion on this. It means asking them for help with something you genuinely struggle with. Maybe it's a new setting on your phone, or understanding a current event, or getting their opinion on a financial decision. When you ask for their advice, you are flipping the script in a beautiful way. You are showing them that you see their competence, their knowledge, their strength. You are allowing them to contribute to your life, and there is immense dignity and respect in being able to contribute. I remember a friend of mine, Barbara. She was always complaining that her son, a landscaper, would never listen to her gardening tips. She'd had a beautiful garden for 50 years. One day, she was frustrated with a rose bush that wouldn't bloom, and she decided, just once, to call him. She didn't tell him what to do. She said, "Mark, I have a rose bush here that's got me stumped. You know so much about plants. I was wondering if you could come take a look and tell me what you think I might be doing wrong." He came over that weekend, spent an hour with her in the garden, and they had the best conversation they'd had in years. She wasn't the all-knowing mother dispensing wisdom. She was a fellow gardener, appreciating the expertise of another. She saw him in a new light, and more importantly, he felt seen by her. That shift, from a parent-child dynamic to an adult-adult dynamic, is where respect finds fertile ground to grow. These first two steps, becoming a master listener and seeing them as capable adults, are about changing the very air between you. They are about shifting the energy from one of direction and judgment to one of curiosity and partnership. It won't change everything overnight, but it will begin to change something. It will begin to change you, and in doing so, you will start to change the dance. And this is just the beginning. In our next conversation, we'll explore a few more ways to nurture this new, respectful connection, including the surprising power of admitting when we're wrong, and the importance of building a rich, full life of our own. So we've been talking about that subtle, aching feeling of losing respect from our grown children, and we began exploring how to gently regain it, not by demanding it, but by fostering it. We talked about the profound power of shifting from being a fixer to being a genuine listener, and the importance of consciously treating our children as the capable adults they are. These changes in our approach can feel strange at first, like putting on a new pair of shoes, but they start to reshape the path we walk on with our family. Now, I want to share with you the third idea, and for many of us, this might be the most difficult one of all. It requires real humility and courage. The third way to rebuild respect is to practice the art of the sincere apology. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Apologize? To them? After everything I've done for them? I understand that feeling completely. Our generation was often raised with the idea that parents are the ultimate authority, and to apologize to your child is to show weakness. But I want to suggest to you a different perspective. I believe that a sincere apology, when we've made a mistake, is one of the strongest, most respectable things a person can ever do. Think about it from their side for a moment. For decades, they've seen us as the ones who are always right, who set the rules, who held all the power. To hear us say, "You know, I've been thinking about what I said yesterday, and I was wrong to speak to you that way. I'm sorry," is utterly disarming. It tells them that you are a person of integrity. It tells them that your relationship with them is more important to you than your pride. It models the kind of accountability we hope they practice in their own lives. This doesn't mean apologizing for your existence or for having been a parent. It means taking responsibility for your specific, recent actions. Maybe you gave unsolicited advice about how they're raising your grandchildren. Maybe you made a sharp comment about their career choice. Maybe you interrupted them or dismissed their feelings. Find a quiet moment and say the words, "I was wrong. I am sorry." Don't follow it with a but, just let the apology sit there, clean and simple. The healing power in those words is immense. It bridges gaps that have been widening for years. It shows them that you see yourself not as a flawless figurehead, but as a fellow human being, still learning, still growing, just like them. And that is a person who is very easy to respect. Now, the fourth idea is closely linked to this, and it's about letting go of the need to be the family manager. For so many years, our lives revolved around managing the household, the schedules, the holidays, the emotions. We were the CEOs of the family. But when our children are adults with their own homes and their own traditions, that role is obsolete. And if we cling to it, we become meddlers. We become the source of tension, not the source of comfort. Regaining respect means transitioning from being the family's manager to being its valued consultant. A consultant doesn't impose, they wait to be asked. A consultant offers wisdom and perspective, but ultimately respects the client's final decision. In practical terms, this means releasing control over the holidays. Instead of insisting that Thanksgiving must be at your house with your menu, you could ask, what would you all like to do for Thanksgiving this year? We're happy to host, or we'd love to come to you, or maybe we could try a restaurant. It means not offering your opinion on their home decor, their finances, or their vacation plans unless you are specifically asked. It means trusting that the values you instilled in them are now their own compass to follow. This is so hard, because our identity is so wrapped up in being the one who holds it all together. But when we let go of that control, something magical happens. First, we relieve ourselves of a tremendous burden. The weight of everyone's happiness is no longer solely on our shoulders. And second, we create a vacuum. And into that vacuum, our children often will step. They start to make decisions. They start to include us because they want to, not because they feel obligated. They begin to see us as a peaceful, stable presence in their lives, not a source of pressure and expectation. They start to ask, Mom, what do you think we should do? And when that question comes from a place of genuine desire for your input, rather than from a sense of duty, that is pure, earned respect. So we have the sincere apology, which builds a bridge of integrity, and we have the release of control, which transforms us from a manager into a cherished consultant. These are active choices we make every day, in our conversations and in our silence. They require us to be vulnerable and to be strong at the very same time. And there are still a couple of paths left for us to explore, including one of the most joyful and empowering ones of all, the importance of building a life that is so full and vibrant, that our children look at us not with pity or obligation, but with genuine admiration. We'll talk about that right after this. We've been on a journey together, talking about mending that fragile thread of respect with our grown children. We've explored how to listen with the goal of understanding, not solving. We've practiced seeing them as the capable adults they are. We've found the courage to offer sincere apologies when we're wrong, and we've learned the grace of letting go of our old role as family manager, stepping instead into the more peaceful role of a valued consultant. These are the quiet, powerful revolutions of the heart that change everything. Now, let's move on to the fifth idea, which is really about tending to our own garden. The fifth way to regain respect is to invest wholeheartedly in your own life, your own interests, and your own well-being. It's to build a life that your children find interesting. Now, I don't mean you have to take up skydiving or learn a rock band, unless you want to. I'm talking about rediscovering the you that exists outside of being mom or dad. For decades, our identity was consumed by parenting. Now, it's our time. When our children see us thriving, when they see us with a spark in our eye about our new book club, our volunteer work, our woodworking project, our yoga class, or even just a dedicated weekly coffee with our own friends, they see a person who is complete without them. This is incredibly attractive. It counters the narrative of the lonely, waiting parent who lives only for their children's phone calls. It shows them that you are resilient, curious, and full of life. It gives them the freedom to live their own lives without the guilt of worrying that you're sitting at home in an empty house, pining for them. I have a friend named Robert whose children were always so busy, they rarely called. He spent a lot of time feeling sorry for himself. Then, he finally joined the community garden he'd been walking past for years. He started growing tomatoes, then heirloom varieties, then he started entering them in the county fair. He made new friends, people of all ages. He had dirt under his fingernails and a smile on his face. He had stories to tell that weren't about the past, but about the present. And you know what happened? His children started calling him more often. Dad, how are the tomatoes? Did you win that blue ribbon? They were intrigued. They were impressed. They started to see their father not just as their dad, but as Robert, the gardener, the champion tomato grower, the interesting man. By filling his own cup, he gave his children something to look up to all over again. Your passion for your own life is a silent, powerful declaration of your own worth. And when you demonstrate your own worth, you invite others, including your children, to see it too. This brings us to our sixth and final point, which is really the foundation that all the others rest upon. The sixth way is to love them unconditionally, but to redefine what that love looks like in this new season of life. Unconditional love for an adult child doesn't mean being a doormat, or financing their every whim, or tolerating disrespect. It doesn't mean we have to agree with all their choices. It means we make a conscious decision to separate our approval of their choices from our unwavering love for them. It means our home remains a soft place for them to land, no matter what. It's a place without lectures, without "I told you so's." It's a place where they can come, have a cup of coffee, and just be. It's the love that is present in the listening we talked about. It's the love that is communicated when we apologize. It's the love that is demonstrated when we respect their autonomy. It's the love that is radiated when we are living a joyful life ourselves. This kind of love is quiet. It doesn't grip too tightly. It doesn't panic. It trusts. It's the love that says, "My door is always open, and my heart is always here for you, but I trust you to navigate your own journey." This is, perhaps, the ultimate form of respect we can show another human being. And when we offer that kind of dignified, trusting love, it very, very often finds its way back to us. So, there we are. 6 paths. 6 ways to gently, patiently, and lovingly nurture the respect we all crave. To listen deeply. To see them as capable adults. To have the courage to apologize. To let go of control and become a consultant. To build a life you love. And to anchor it all in a redefined, unconditional love. Remember, this isn't about a single, grand gesture. It's about the small, consistent choices we make every day. The choice to listen instead of lecture. The choice to ask instead of tell. The choice to fill our own days with purpose. These small changes in the way you interact can transform the atmosphere in your family. It won't happen overnight. There may be missteps and awkward moments. But with patience and compassion for yourself and for them, you can rebuild that bridge, stronger than it was before. This is a conversation that so many of us are having in our hearts. If you feel comfortable, I would be so honored if you shared your own experiences in the comments below. What has worked for you? What are you struggling with? I read every single message. If this conversation has resonated with you, if it's brought you a little bit of hope, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. It helps us reach other wonderful people like you who are navigating this chapter of life. From my heart to yours, I wish you calm, warmth, and genuine connection in your family. Thank you for being here.